to Rani's Education. So dear friends, please watch the complete video. If anyone missed previous videos, I have given the links in the description. You can go through those videos. So in today's session, we'll see what are the different phases of a compiler, what type of outputs we are going to get from each phase of a compiler. Okay, let's see that. So there are 6 phases in a compiler: lexical analyzer, syntax analyzer, semantic, intermediate code generator, code optimizer and code generator. Okay, so we'll see one after the other eventually. So here in lexical analyzer, we are going to consider the input as stream of characters. Those characters are going to be grouped together, which gives the meaningful sentence, which is called as a lexeme. With respect, this is only the input for lexical analyzer, which will generate the output as tokens. Here tokens are going to be represented as in the form of pair of attribute. That is, what is the token name and followed by what is the attribute value. Token name and attribute. So here token name is nothing but what the string we have get, or the lexeme we have found, that is, and where that particular lexeme is going to be stored in the symbol table entry. Okay, so here lexeme is the input for lexical analyzer and tokens are outputs. Tokens are going to be defined in the form of pairs, token name and attribute value. Okay, consider this is the given source program. Now this is going to be converted into tokens. So here lexeme is nothing but what? So group of characters are going to be grouped together, which gives the meaningful sentence, that is called as a lexeme. So here position is one lexeme, assignment operator is one lexeme, initial, rate, asterisk, plus, and each and every symbol in that particular source program is going to be considered as a lexeme. Okay, now how we are going to convert these lexemes into tokens here? So here position is nothing but which is an identifier, which identifies something, isn't it? So that's why we are going to write a token as like this. There is an identifier and which is going to be stored in the first entry of symbol table. So then assignment operator is also one lexeme here and initial is another lexeme, so which is also an identifier. So identifier which is going to be stored in symbol table entry 2. Then plus is also a lexeme. Okay, then go for rate is an identifier. So here we are going to write ID, which is an identifier, which is going to be stored in symbol table entry 3. Then asterisk is also one identifier and 60 is also an identifier. So that is what? Lexemes. Okay. So each and every lexeme is going to be defined within less than, greater than or angular brackets. Okay. This is the output for lexical analyzer as in the form of tokens. Now in syntax analyzer, we are going to consider that a sequence of tokens are going to be considered as input and which will produce the syntax tree. Okay. So while we are constructing syntax tree, we are going to consider which operators are going to be considered as nodes and root nodes, interior nodes and root nodes, and these identifiers are going to be defined in the leaf nodes. Let's see how we are going to define that syntax tree. Here assignment operator takes as root node and left is this identifier 1 and right subtree contains this id 2 plus rate into 6. Here intermediate node is plus, which takes identifier 2 and the right of this is asterisk, which is id comma 3 and right subtree is 60. Right subtree is 60. This is in semantic analyzer. Here we are going to construct one new syntax tree for the input of syntax tree, which is taken from syntax analyzer. Those such type of syntax trees are called as annotated parse trees. Annotated parse tree or annotated syntax tree. Okay. So here the output of semantic analyzer is going to be stored in the form of symbol table or in the form of tree representation. Okay. So and one more important feature of semantic analyzer is which performs type checking. So whether we are going to get the correct type of operators, whether those operators are going to be matched with the correct type of operands or not. So that is going to be done here. If it is possible, type cohesions are also to be done in this semantic analyzer. So in intermediate code generator, we are going to define the given input, that is syntax tree, as in the form of codes. So here intermediate representation is nothing but we are going to consider 3 address code. 3 address code. So in this 3 address code, each instruction contains at most one operator at the RHS. Okay. So let's see what is the output for semantic analyzer, which is same as that of syntax tree. Only one thing that we are going to consider here is we are going to convert this into float, which is nothing but 60. That is what we are going to get here in semantic analyzer. Now what about intermediate code generator? So here we are going to generate the intermediate representation. That code is going to be considered as input for the code generator. Okay, so we will see how we are going to write the intermediate representation. So let us take the intermediate representation is going to be defined like this. So initially I am going to type into float, which is nothing but 60. Then go for T2 equals to identify 3 is going to be multiplied with this, isn't it? So that is ID3 into 60. T3 ID2 plus T2 and we'll go for what is that? So position plus rate into 60, which we have defined here. So then go for A in that is that which is position equals, right? That is ID1. ID1 equals to T3. That is ID1 is nothing but position. So T3 is nothing but ID2 plus T2. ID2 is nothing but what? Initial. So plus T2. ID3 is rate into 60. Here we are going to consider the 60 as floating point. Clear? So this is the intermediate representation for intermediate code generator phase. Now, here we are going to define some syntax trees as well. If you want to give in this brief, we are going to take DAG representations as well. So the information is going to be defined in abstract manner. That's why we are going to consider the syntax trees for intermediate representation are called as abstract syntax trees. Abstract syntax trees. Before moving on to code generator, code optimizer is very important, which is an optional one. So before code generation phase, we are going to consider machine independent code optimizer. If it is possible to reduce the these lines of code, we can do that. That is only possible with that of machine independent code optimizer. Then the code generator produces the target machine code as in the form of registers and memory locations for storing all the registers. Okay. So after code generation phase, if you want to reduce the target machine code, we can do that with the help of machine dependent code optimizer. Here code optimizer is an optional one. Okay. Now what will be the reduced optimized code for this? I am going to write like this. T1 equals to ID3 into 60.0. So which is nothing but floating point, right? So then we'll go for like this. So which is nothing but ID2 plus T1. So instead of taking T2 here, directly you are going to define ID1 as well. Nothing else. Okay. So this is also optimized code which is done with the help of machine independent code optimizer phase. Then this code is going to be sent to the code generator phase. Here in code generator phase, this required target machine code is going to be defined in the form of registers and memory locations. Okay. Now, so in compilation, we are having mainly two parts. One is front end of the compiler, another one is back end of the compiler. So front end of the compiler consists of 4 phases. Lexical analysis phase, syntax analysis phase, semantic analysis phase, and intermediate code generation phase. Intermediate code generation phase. Then backend of the compiler consists of code optimizer and code generation. Here code optimizer is one optional one, so we are going to define in one phase, and we are going to consider only code generation phase comes under this backend. If it is possible, we are going to write code optimizer as well, but which is an optional one, that's why we are going to ignore it. Code optimization. Okay, so that's why front end of the compiler is also considered as analysis part. Analysis part. Backend is nothing but synthesis part. Now we can say that compiler consists of mainly 2 parts. One is analysis part and synthesis part. Analysis part is also called as front end of the compiler, and synthesis part is also called as back end of the compiler. So here analysis part is purely language dependent, which is language dependent, wherein backend or synthesis part is completely machine dependent one. Machine dependent. Okay. Now we have to know what is meant by pass and phase of a compiler. So pass is nothing but some phases are going to be grouped together as a single one, that is called as a pass. The complete scan of a program, which is nothing but pass. Here lexical analyzer, syntax and semantic intermediate code generation phases are going to be grouped together as a single phase, then we can say that which is one pass. The complete scan of a program, okay, that is which reads one and writes output. What about here? Code optimization is an optional one, so we can call it as a one pass. Code generation is another pass. This is how we are going to define a pass. Okay, phase is nothing but which performs some actions. What is the input? What type of output it will produce? That is going to be done by the phase of a compiler, which is pass of a compiler. Symbol table acts as a database which stores the information regarding all the 6 phases of a compiler. Okay. So and one more thing, here lexical analyzer is also called as a scanner. Syntax analyzer is also called as a parser. Okay. So the syntax trees which we have computed after semantic analyzer, those are called as annotated parse trees. Right. So here at last we are going to get target machine code. So I hope you like this session. If you like this session, please like, share, comment and subscribe. Thank you everyone.